kung paano po tayo magpapatuloy sa gawain pong ito. This is somewhat related dun po sa ginawa ng Holy Spirit in the early church with regards to Ananias and Sapphira. It's about commitments. Okay, it's about our pledges, our promises, our vows. Somewhat I've shared this already in one prayer meeting, pero gusto ko bang basahin po sa inyo sa Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 5. And I'll just begin here in verse 4 hanggang verse 6. So the preacher says, or ito po ay si Solomon, Ecclesiastes 5:4, when thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it. For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Verse 5, better is it that thou shouldest not vow, that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Verse 6, suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Neither say before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thy hands? So in our Sunday school system, in our Sunday school classes, we have this commitment that we do annually. In fact, most of the commitments or responsibilities dito po sa church po natin are done annually. Okay? So, ang Sunday school po natin, may nagko-commit na magturo every year. Okay? Sa ating pong mga fellowship, meron tayong mga officers. They are selected and they, commit to serve for a year, to lead. Sa ating pong board, meron din po tayo, mga 2 years yata, Sa ating pong, sa ating school, sa Christian school, okay? Believe it or not, it's a annual, renewal of their commitment. Sa ating youth, si Brother Lawrence have committed for a year, to really minister to the youth. And so ang sinasabi ko lang po, most of the things dito po sa ating church, when we commit, there is merong limit. Okay? Siguro ang limit lang po ay siguro sa akin po and sa ilang mga workers natin, I will serve as your pastor until I die, or when I'm disqualified, then I will step down, or if God calls me some other place. Okay? But ang sinasabi po natin dito, ito pong ginagawain po natin sa Panginoon, bagamat ito po ay binibigay natin yung buhay natin sa Panginoon, it is something that we renew. Ganun din po, sa choir po natin, sa ating pong pagtuturo sa Sunday school sa labas, we make sure that at a certain point, we renew, okay, our commitments. Alam niyo po sa Bible po, meron pong tinatawag na mga vows, okay, or pledges. Okay? So listen, yung mga nag-pledge po this year, because I want you to understand the implications of your pledging. Maging sa mga estudyante po, so may mga nag-commit na magturo, so dapat meron ding commitment yung estudyante, to attend, and to listen, to learn. Maybe someday, the person who will be teaching will be the one who will be the student. Okay? And kailangan din po ng commitment yun. Okay? Yung pag-aaral po. So, ang sinasabi lang po natin dito, in the Bible, it is voluntary. Okay? Vows are made voluntarily. But ang rule po dyan, in the Old Testament, when you make the vow, it becomes your responsibility to to fulfill them. Okay? So hindi ho yan required. So katulad ni Ananias and Sapphira, they made some commitment. Okay? It was not required of them, but when they made that vow, they had to make good of that promise. So sa Bible po, maging sinasabi po nating Nazarite. So ano ba yung Nazarite vow? In the Old Testament, people like si Moses, si Samson. Di ba si Samson nagpahaba ng buhok? So hindi ho para sa lahat yon. That's those people who have been born with a Nazarite vow. Okay, hindi ho sila nagpapagupit. They don't take grapes. Si Samuel is also a Nazarite, it is said, and si John the Baptist. So with those three exemptions, yung vow po nila, lifetime po yon until they die. But normally, ang Nazarite vow po, may po yan, may limit po yan. Si Pablo po ay nagkaroon ng Nazarite vow only for a while. Okay? So pwede po yon. It's voluntary at meron pong limit kung hanggang kailan. Now, having said that, okay, so mahalaga po that when you make that commitment, either for a year or 2 years, nasiguraduhin po natin that we know that we are doing at sure po tayo na pag nag-commit po tayo, whether attend tayo as a member of the church, okay, and by the way, if you just attend, you don't need to be a member if you just attend. Okay? Attendance is not required. It is free for everybody. Okay? If you serve, then that's where membership comes in. But if people just want to attend, then, you don't need to be a member. Ang sinasabi ko lang po, because certain things, meron pong mga responsibility. Okay? To serve. And Solomon says, when you vow a vow, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure, in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. In fact, ang natural thinking po rito, ni Solomon, mas maganda, hindi ka nalang nag-vow sa verse 5. Better it is that thou shouldest not vow than thou shouldest vow and not pay. Okay? So alam niyo po, this really happens among churches. We make a commitment. And sinasabi ko po sa inyo, commitments are not required. Okay? If you make a promise, halimbawa to our church, you have to do it. Ang nag-require po doon, kayo at ang Diyos. Because you made the vow not to the church only, and not to men, but to yourself, and to God. So it is not required, but it becomes your responsibility to fulfill it. Okay, sometimes we make some commitments, okay, and we don't fulfill them. Ito sinasabi ko, whether you're teaching or not, okay, it's a commitment. Okay, commitment po yun. Kasi kung meron tinalagaan Diyos na magtuturo, then meron din siyang in-appoint na dapat mag-aaral o makikinig. Hindi ho pwedeng sa eskwelahan, puro teacher. Dapat meron din mag-i-enroll na estudyante. Kasi ganoon din po sa Sunday school. Okay? Don't think that since you are not teaching, okay, then you are not obligated. Okay? So pag nagsimula po tayo na umattend sa Sunday school, I'm just giving you this fair, warning, then you should finish it. Okay? Kung yung lesson po natin ay 12 weeks, so dapat tapusin niyo po yun. Okay? Because meron po tayong mga kasama po rito who will be preparing, who will be spending time and money. Okay? They'll be studying. Okay? They'll be praying. At kung hindi ho natin gagawin yung part natin, then it won't be encouraging for them to do their part also. So this is applicable po sa lahat ng ginagawa po natin sa church. Alam niyo po, maging sa missions. So insert ko na rin po yung missions kasi, you know, our missions are dependent on the promise of our church, okay, to support these missionaries. Okay? So kaya nga po sa mga missionaries po natin, don't make promises to them if you don't intend to keep them. Okay? Minsan may nagsasabi sa akin missionary, Pastor, you know, may nag-promise sa akin ganito eh. Okay. So that's between you and them. Okay, it's not me. Okay? It's not the church, it's between you and them. Pero at the same time, before we had faith promise. Okay? Now we don't have that. Now if you still want to do that, it's up to you. Pero sinasabi ko lang po sa inyo, always make good of your promise. Because ang consequences po nito, like what we saw, in Ananias and Sapphira, I'm saying po, not maybe physically but spiritually, malaki po ang consequence po nito. Sabi po rito sa verse 6, "Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Neither say thou before the angel." Sino ho ba yung angel po rito? Hindi po ito yung spiritual being that we don't see. But the angel here can be interpreted as messenger. O sabihin natin, missionary or preacher or teacher. Don't say to the angel that it was an error. So don't say na nag-commit ka nagsabi ka ng promise mo. Sasabihin, ay nagkamali ako eh. Okay. Hindi pala kalooban ng Diyos na ako ay magturo. Hindi pala kalooban ng Diyos na ako ay mag-commit. You know what? Sabi po rito, wherefore should God be angry? God gets angry sometimes. Okay? And the reason why He is angry is because, we sin when we do not fulfill our vows, our obligations. Na hindi naman hiningi ng Diyos. Okay? God's not asking us to do that. But since ginawa po natin ito, then we discern na ito yung kalooban ng Diyos para sa atin. And when God is angry with us, sabi po rito, should God destroy the works of thy hands? I mean, how can God bless yung ibang mga bagay na ginagawa po natin? Kung sa Diyos, hindi tayo marunong, hindi tayo mahusay, hindi tayo maayos na kausap sa Diyos. How can God prosper your business? How can God prosper your employment if you are not true to your commitment? Okay? And in our church, a commitment is binding. As the commitment that you have with your employer, with Meralco, with whoever it is that you have your business with. So ang sinasabi ko lang po sa inyo, maaring yung commitment po natin sa Sunday school is just, ang tingin natin, ano lang naman yan, di ba? Sunday school lang naman. Well, siguro para hindi tayo ma-overwhelm, hindi naman ito for life. Okay? Some of you will be teaching only for 1 year, and then maybe you will rest for a year or two, and let some others teach also. And then it's your turn also to become a student, and to learn and to support the Sunday school. My point is, both has commitment. May commitment na magturo, meron ding commitment na makinig. At ito sasabihin ko sa inyo, yung nakikinig sa biyaya ng Diyos, pagdating ng araw, gagamitin din ng Diyos yan. Okay? Pero unless you are willing to sit down and learn, you will not be considered, as one who could teach others also, if you are not yourself teachable. So let me just encourage you. Ang encouragement ko po sa inyo, sandali lang po yung 1 year. Okay? 52 Sundays, hindi ho masyadong mahaba yan. Minsan less pa nga ng 52. Yung mga responsibilities po natin sa church, Okay? Unless you are called by the Lord full-time to do those things, okay? Just remember, meron pong limit yan. And when that's done, it's done. Okay? It's up to you if you want to commit yourself again to the either teaching or to the work of the church. So, ang sinasabi ko lang po sa inyo, be encouraged that kung magiging matapat tayo sa sinasabi natin sa Panginoon, then tutulungan din tayo ng Panginoon to do those things that we promise to Him. Okay? Sige po, so that's all I have to say. So bago po tayo maghiwa-hiwalay,